Really hope this makes my audio sound sweet. Hey, welcome to the channel and welcome back to the channel if you're already subscribed. Today I'm going to be going over 4 more ground beef hacks to basically level up your carnivore game. In the first video, I went over some very basic things you could do to change up how you eat your ground beef, but in this one, I'm going to give you some actual recipes to make things a little more fun. While I personally eat pretty much just ground beef and eggs every day, I do like to do things like this every now and then just to kind of keep my sanity, even if it involves some dairy and some other little things that I know just kind of will keep me on track in the long run. But this waffle maker's starting to get kind of heavy, so let's go ahead and get started. All right, to level up the hamburger patty, I want to take it to a good level, but I don't want to go too crazy. I'm going to be making a cheeseburger, but what I want to do is add more texture than that and add a deeper, cheesier flavor than I would normally add. So to do that, I will be using fresh Parmesan cheese, but I'll also be using it in 2 different ways. The first way, I'm just gonna incorporate this into my ground beef. I'm gonna start by shredding some into a mixing bowl. This is about 1 ounce I'm gonna add into my meat. I know this is so exciting to watch. I know you just can't wait for me to finish getting this all shredded up. You're just gonna have to wait, because this is my job. You're watching me do my job right now. I appreciate you watching me do my job too, but this is my job. Well, it's one of my jobs. Cheese is shredded. I'm going to add about 6 to 7 ounces of ground beef, and I want to go ahead and get that fully incorporated. You don't want to overwork this too much. You don't want to get, sausage or a meatball texture. Cheese is incorporated. Make a patty. Start off with a wad of meat. Get your puck going, and you just want to smash it down. You pick it back up, get your edges again, and just keep going around. Got our heavily Parmesan burger patty ready. I'm going to let this sit aside to rest while we work on Parmesan incorporation number 2, which is going to be a big old Parm crisp. So get yourself a baking sheet, line it with either parchment paper. You can get one of these silicone baking mats. They're pretty cheap, whatever you're most comfortable with. And just start shredding your Parmesan into a circle. What this is going to do is it will lace up and it'll get crispy, and it will just make a very nice textural difference to our burger. Use your hands, kind of get this into a circle. I'm going to go ahead and cook this as well. I've got my oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to let this go for probably 5 to 7 minutes at the very most. I'm going to keep an eye on it though and check it every couple minutes just to make sure I'm not burning it. And after 5 minutes, this is what it looks like. We have a nice lacy sheet of Parmesan. It will continue to harden as it sits here. And if it breaks, it's not that big of a deal. So you can still put it on top. You'll still get that crunchy texture. But what I'm going to try to do is keep it from breaking. Just let this cool off and it should release from your parchment paper. And since this is done, we can finally work on getting our Parmesan burger patty. I'm going to be using my seasoning, steak dust. It's just a nice smoky steak seasoning. If you don't have this or you don't feel like buying it, I will leave a simple steak seasoning recipe below. I've got my pan set to medium heat. I'm just trying to keep my cheese from burning. So I'm going to season both sides lightly with my seasoning because Parmesan is already salty. We're just going to let this get a sear. We'll flip it, get another sear, and I'll reduce the heat a little bit to let it cook all the way through. I see some color starting to creep up the side. I'm going to go ahead and give it a flip. And if it sticks, that means it wasn't quite ready to flip. And mine stuck a lot. That's okay. It's not a big deal. Instead of putting this on low heat, what I'm going to do is get this other side seared for let this other side get seared a little bit for just another 30 seconds or so. I'm going to throw it into my oven that's still set to 350 degrees. I'm going to let it finish cooking in there just because it's such a thick patty. All right, going in the oven. And that should take roughly 8 minutes, and it is finished. Let's give it a little flip, see how the underside's looking. Oh yeah, that looks pretty nice. Let's get this onto a plate, and then we'll go ahead and top this with our very delicate, lacy cheese that did break. But again, that's okay. And we're left with this explosively Parmesan cheese burger. We got our crispy, lacy cheese on top. There's Parmesan all throughout the burger, so it's bound to be good. All we got left to do is give it a taste, see how it is. I'm going to be the first to admit that I might have added too much cheese to this. Instead of adding a full ounce of Parmesan to this, go with a ½ ounce. Or even if you don't want to add the cheese directly to the burger, I think just adding this, crispy cheese on top would be a very excellent addition. But if you're looking for something rich and decadent, go ahead and make it just like this, because this is definitely those things. All right, to level up these meatballs, we're going to be making some Cajun smothered meatballs. So at the restaurant I work at, we make a lot of dishes with cream sauces. We actually don't make a lot. We have a couple of dishes with cream sauces. And this idea just came to me as I was watching one of the cooks make shrimp and grits, which is shrimp and some other stuff in a cream sauce over the grits. And I thought, why not do the same thing with meatballs? So all I'm doing here is getting 12 ounces of ground beef. I don't know why I didn't start with a bigger bowl. But I have 12 ounces of ground beef, and I'm going to be adding some of my Cajun seasoning. This is Gator Bite from my company. You can use any Cajun seasoning you'd like. And again, if you don't want to feel left out, I will leave a pretty simple Cajun seasoning down below if you want to make that instead. All I'm doing is adding about 3/4 of a teaspoon of my seasoning to this. I'm going to get this mixed up a little bit. Probably go for about 30 seconds. I just want to get it incorporated. But doing this will also help to firm up the meatballs a little bit. You can kind of tell that you're done. It won't be crumbling all over the place. It should just kind of break apart like that. And for this, I'm going to be making 1.5 ounce meatballs. Best way to do that is to get your meat into a bowl, throw it on a scale, take your 2 hands, cup them together. If you watch any of my meatball videos, you probably already know how to do this. It's also just a intuitive thing, I think. So whether you use a scale or you're just eyeballing it, you should get roughly 8 meatballs out of this. And the next thing we want to do is get a nice sear on our meatballs. So I'm just going to throw these into my pan that's set over medium heat. Sear each side for, roughly a minute, just until you see some nice color. Give the first one a check. There we go. It's looking pretty good already. And it's actually already starting to smell good. The spices and the Cajun seasoning starting to open up. These guys have a nice sear. What I'm going to do now, I'm going to take them. I'm going to throw them into my oven. It's set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to cook for maybe 12 to 15 minutes, just until they're done all the way through. And in the meantime, we're going to start working on our sauce. So I have here some smaller shrimp. All I'm going to do is cut them into little chunks. I've got 10 in total. You can use more if you want to. This is just felt right for what I'm doing. Just go around those curly little guys and cut them into little sections. And I highly suggest, if you're going to do this, just get some frozen, peeled and deveined shrimp, unless you just really like pulling poop sacks out of crustaceans. Is this a crustacean? You know what I mean. I know everyone's got something, but if you're really into shrimp poop, that's on you, man. Now we're going to be making the sauce while these meatballs are still cooking. This is about 1.5 tablespoons-ish of butter. I'm going to get that melted into my pan that's set over medium heat. And while that's melting, I'm going to go ahead and actually just throw in my shrimp. And for the seasoning, again, I'm going to use more of this Gator Bite Cajun Seasoning. For this amount of shrimp, I'm going to go about 1/2 teaspoon-ish. And it seems that cooking shrimp is kind of scary to a lot of people for some reason. It doesn't take that long to cook this stuff. The only thing you're going to do that's the mistake is overcooking it. These have been cooking for roughly 30 seconds. I'm already starting to see some color. And since that's the case, I have a cheek from a lemon that I just cut off. Lemon's in there. I'm going to be adding roughly 1/2 cup of heavy cream. I'm just going to get that moving. So what's going to happen is this cream is going to reduce, and the lemon will brighten up the dish and actually make it taste a bit lighter than you would expect. And I have a cut on my finger and it hurts so bad with the lemon juice in it, but I'm awake now. So reducing the cream with the shrimp is going to ensure that my shrimp are going to be perfectly cooked by the time it's thickened. I'm also going to add just a pinch of parsley to this already to get some color going in it. And if you see the bubbles kind of forming like this, that means that a lot of the water has evaporated from it, and this is just fat bubbling. And I think this is good because it will continue to thicken as it sits here. But we do want to give it a little taste for seasoning. It needs just a little more salt at least. You don't have to add more Cajun if you don't want to, but I want that flavor. All right, sauce is done. Meatballs should be done in about 5 minutes. So they're done. They have a nice crust on them. It's going to pile them up on a plate. We could take our shrimpy sauce we just made and pour it right over the top. And hit that with just a little more parsley. Add a lemon wedge to it. Make it look nice. All right, get a nice look. There it is. I'm going to call this a Cajun smothered meatball. Let's give this a taste, see how we did. Add some lemon juice. Get a couple of these little shrimps. Get a meatball. This is going to burn my mouth. Oh, God. I'm going to do it. It's because I love you. I do this because I want you to be able to eat good food too. This is number 1, meaty. The beef with the shrimp are a great texture combo together. I'm sure you knew that. Number 2, it is rich with that cream sauce, and the shrimp actually make it more rich. The use of the lemon juice in the sauce and on top makes it feel a lot lighter. You don't have to add the parsley, but again, it makes it a little bit lighter. But finally, it's delicious. Like, I have a really hard time thinking of anybody that wouldn't want to eat this besides, people with a shellfish allergy, or, people who just don't like shrimp, so. All right, to level up the beef crumbles, I'm going to be making taco sloppy joes, or sloppy taco, sloppy Jose tacos. We're going to be making sloppy joes with, like, taco meat, kind of. You might be wondering, how are we going to be able to make a sandwich? So if you've not seen my Baconator video, I probably made that 3 years ago now. I came up with a bun recipe that I've used ever since, and it's very simple. You're going to need 1 ounce of pork rinds by weight. If you have ground pork rinds, still need 1 ounce. Those into your food processor. You can always do this in a blender if you don't have a food processor. That's fine. You just need to stop every now and then and start scraping things down. Gonna need 3 eggs. Bloop, bloop, bloop. 4 ounces of cooked ground beef. I made this earlier. If you remember the Parmesan cheeseburger, yeah, it didn't always look like that. This might have been that failure, but luckily I needed it for this recipe. Throw that right in there. 1 ounce of the finest cream cheese, or at least the finest cream cheese that you can afford. About a half teaspoon of baking powder. Finally, about a 1/4 teaspoon of salt just to get it seasoned up. And now we cut to the part where it's not insanely loud and our batter is ready. And you might notice that as this sits, it will kind of dry up a little bit. That's because the pork rinds are hydrating. But that's not necessarily a bad thing because you don't want to have a goopy bun. I already have goopy meat going inside the bun. I really don't want goop on goop action unless you just like weird scented candles. And for this bun, you will need a ring mold or 2 because this should make 2 buns. These are just little egg molds that you crack an egg into to make perfect circle eggs for some reason, but I use them to make carnivore buns. And all I'm gonna do is evenly distribute between the 2 molds. And it might not look like much right now, but you're gonna see magic happen here soon. All right, these are molded up. I've got my oven set to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm gonna throw these in for roughly 20 to 22 minutes, and they should be done by that point because they have to rest and they will continue cooking. So let's go ahead and do that, and then we can start on. We're sloppy joe filling. I've got my pan set to medium heat. I'm just gonna simply crumble up some ground beef into it. I don't really have an amount that I'm thinking of right now, but if I had to give you one, I'd say 5 to 6 ounces for these 2 buns I have. And to that, I'm going to obviously be adding some taco seasoning. Since it's 6 ounces, I'm going to add about a half teaspoon or so worth. And while it's cooking, I'm just going to add a little hot sauce to this to add some tang to it. This is going to be 2 teaspoons or so. Any of the spice that's even in this will definitely cook off. And I'm just going to get that moving. But you may be asking yourself, dear Mr. Chef, how is this going to be sloppy? And to that I say, by using sour cream, of course. I'm gonna add about 3 ounces or so by weight, maybe 4, I'm not sure what this is, just kind of eyeball it. So what the sour cream is gonna do is thicken, it's gonna help emulsify the fat from the beef into everything, and most importantly, it'll help make it sloppy without just being a drippy, greasy mess. And judging by the amount of grease in my pan, the label that said lean ground beef was a lie. Let's give this a little taste for seasoning. Just a touch more taco seasoning, maybe roughly a 1/4 teaspoon. Add a little more of this hot sauce. So what we need to do next is get those buns out of the oven. So I didn't think about rise happening because I put baking powder in it. I ended up with having to scrape this stuff off. But I got one that looks halfway decent. This one's looking a little amorphous. I'm gonna let these rest for about 5 or 10 minutes just so I can handle them. They're really hot right now still. It'll also give them a chance to finish in the middle. So 10 minutes later, we should be good to go. I'm just going to get these out of these molds. Yeah, this one turned out pretty nice. It could have been better. See where it was starting to spill over. But got a nice little bun right here. So all we need to do is take one, split it in half. See that nice crumb structure we got in the middle of the bun? It actually looks like bread, which is really cool. Take our sloppy joe mix, put it on our bun halves. I'm going to add just a little garnish to the plate to brighten it up a little bit. And there we have some taco sloppy joes, or whatever you want to call it. I can't really come up with a good name, so I'm just going to keep calling it taco sloppy joes. All right, let's give this a taste. Rate it 1 through 10. God, I haven't had these buns in so long. I forgot how good they are. But that filling is really good. It's nice and tangy. Got a good taco flavor. It's definitely sloppy. And honestly, this one's just really good. It's definitely the biggest change up out of all these recipes. And it's likely the most effort to make, but it's well worth it. This is top tier. To level up our cold ground beef, I want to make like not tuna salad, but a ground beef salad. You know, I want to take all the things I would make tuna salad with and put it with this ground beef. This is just cold ground beef. I like to keep this in my fridge just in case I get hungry. I could just grab it and eat it really quick. But there's definitely ways to make this even better. And when I used to make tuna salad the old way, it would be like mayo, mustard, relish, and seasoning. And that would be like my base. And I'm going to do something very similar. And it all starts with my not mayo recipe. And if you're not aware of what that is, I made a video a little while back showing you how to make this. It's simply equal parts mayo and cream cheese with a little salt. And you can add lemon juice to add the tang like you would have in mayonnaise. So I've added 37 grams of softened cream cheese. I'm going to add in 37 grams of sour cream. And I'm going to finish that up with just a small pinch of salt, roughly an 1/8 teaspoon. Looks like this right now. And now it looks like this. It is chunky, but I'm not that worried about it. If you have this already made up, you can do this in a blender, you can do it in a food processor to get this even more creamy. But I'm not taking it that serious, just because if I was making this, it would be something I would make on the fly, and I don't always keep this on me, but I do have it every now and then just sitting in the fridge ready for me. And for this amount of not mayo, I want to get about 6 ounces of my ground beef. And since I am seeing this as a tuna salad alternative, I'm going to add a little pickle to this. Obviously, you don't have to add this if you don't want it. And I'm not going to go too crazy with this. I'm going to add just 2 small little pickles to it. And to this, I'm going to add about 1 teaspoon of spicy brown mustard. And then I'm going to finish it up with 1 pinch of black pepper. Simply give this a mix. Let's give it a little taste for seasoning. Oh yeah, that's nice. Let's get it into a bowl. And then we'll just add a little garnish of green onions for color and flavor if you like it. And there it is, a nice cold ground beef salad. This can honestly take you less than 5 minutes to make, but it looks really good and I'm really excited to see how it tastes. It's almost reminiscent of just a cheeseburger, honestly. But it's creamy, it's got some crunch from the pickles, a little tangy from the mustard, and the simplicity of the salt and pepper just work really well with this. And if you make this ahead of time and let it refrigerate like overnight, it's going to develop even more flavor. But the simplicity in this is beautiful because you can already have your ground beef ready and all you got to do is add a few ingredients. And you've made this entire experience just that much better. All right, if you've made it this far into the video, I'm not going to give you a full spiel about my company. If you've seen many of my videos over the past couple of years, you've definitely heard about Carnivore Companion. I used some of these in the video today, and if you want to check these out, there's a link down below, or you can go to CarnivoroCompanion.com, use code CarnivorousChef to save 20% off your entire order. And if you've been looking for a way to support me and my channel, this is probably the best way to do so. So just check us out, and I hope you enjoy it. Well, that's it. If you made it to this point in the video, thank you so much for watching the entire thing. If you liked the video, give it a like. Please share this with your friends as it helps the algorithm, and subscribe to the channel if you aren't already. See you next time.